Hi, this is Sean from Ace Appliance in Toledo, Ohio. Welcome back to another in-home diagnostic video brought to you by ApplianceVideo.com. Okay, we're on a Jenn-Air French door bottom mount refrigerator. Complaint is that it's been leaking on the floor. So open up the freezer drawer here, and at the base, down at the bottom there, we can see that there's some water that pooled that's frozen. And then if we also pull the rack forward, we can see at the base of the grate, or the back panel, there's a grate, and we can see the defrost drain, and that is frozen with water and ice. Basically with these models, what has happened is there's a drain grommet on the end of the drain tube to prevent warm air from going inside the freezer. They've been faulty, so they don't allow the water to pass through fast enough. So we're going to take the freezer apart, clear the ice, put it back together, and then pull the unit out, get to the back, and then replace that drain grommet. Alright, to complete this repair, you'll need a 1/4 inch nut driver or a 1/4 inch bit and a drill like I have, a flathead screwdriver, a smaller screwdriver, and I use a metal shish kebab skewer just for clearing ice and making sure a drain would be clear. Okay, there are 4 screws that hold our door on. I'm going to go ahead and just loosen them. I don't need to remove them because it's kind of on like a U kind of clip here on the door, and that will it just kind of rests on the bracket. What the screws do, now that we have them loosened, now we can actually just kind of lift straight up. Remove the door. Okay, now we got that off, I'm going to grab this basket and just remove it. Just going to lift straight up. The food will come out. So I'm going to push this drawer back in to get it out of the way a little bit. Next we got to work on getting this basket out of the way. And in order to do that, there are screws that go in these end pieces here. So I'm going to push it all the way back. Right in here there's a screw and a screw here, 1/4 inch. So we're going to take those screws out, and then once we take those out, there's 1, 2. So now once we got these out, we can pull everything forward. So now there are some clips right here, and one over here behind the ice. So we'll take the ice out. We have a clip over here, one here, and then one on that side, and there are 2 tabs on each clip that we have to press in the tabs and lift this clip up. That will allow the unit to be removed, the rack to be removed. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm just going to go ahead and grab my screwdriver, press in on the clip as I'm trying to slide this up. So that's up now. I'm going to do the same to the other side. Alright, so that's up. So now we can remove it. In order to actually remove it, where we took the screws out, we're going to lift up and then slide the basket out. So now we have our basket out. Now our next step, we're going to remove our ice maker. So I'm going to push this rack out. So in order to get our back panel out, we need our ice maker out of the way. So there are 3 screws that are going to hold that in place. They're all 1/4 inch. 1, 2, 3, and then finally our ice maker harness. Just unplug it and it'll slide out, and we can set that to the side. Alright, so we're going to start over here where our sensor is located. There's a little slot. Just put our screwdriver in, and there's a tab that locks it in place that when we wiggle our screwdriver, it ends up depressing the tab. Now that we have our sensor out, we'll pop it out and then slide this off. So now the sensor can go through the panel when we go back there. Next thing I'm going to do is over here on the left where the ice maker plug is. There are 2 tabs. I'm just going to press in the tab and push our ice maker back in because the wires aren't long enough to remove that panel. The next one is up here. There's a tab here on this side. We're going to put the screwdriver in to press the tab, and there's also a locking tab here in the middle. So I have a small screwdriver to push that in. So I thought. Alright, so that's off now. Set that on the side. Now there are 4/4 inch screws to hold the panel in. So I'm going to slide this drawer out so I can access the lower two. But basically they're in the 4 corners of the panel. I'm going to get the first. Okay. Number 2, 3, and 4. Alright, so we got that out. Now our panel is loose. Now to get it out, we actually kind of have to bend it a little bit. Not crease it, just flex it so we can clear these door rail areas. And you want to be careful because the panel is very sharp. So just grab it in the middle and just pull it towards me and then out. And now we have access to the drain so we can clear all the ice. So now that we have this access, we can just go ahead and just start breaking the ice. Now we want to be careful not to hit our evaporator, which is this piece up here, because we could puncture it and lose refrigerant. So I'm just going to start clearing the ice here. And right there in the center, that's where the actual drain is. So it's a little bit deeper than the rest of it. It'll take a little while longer to clear that area out. Okay, so we got almost all the ice cleared. We have some chunks in there which we can clear out later. We just want to make sure it's clear. So I have some hot water in my little turkey baster. I'm just going to squirt it into the drain here so I can see it's backing up. I have a metal shish kebab skewer that I just want to make sure the ice is clear. And in order to do that, I'm just going to stick it through. And then if the water drains out, which it's doing now, I know I have all the ice removed. And the only thing that's slowing it down is that faulty grommet. So we can go ahead and try to clean up the rest of these little pieces of ice. And then we'll start reassembling the freezer in order to get to the back and complete the repair. Okay, so now we're going to reinstall our back panel. Remember, it's sharp and it is too big to get in there with these rails in the way. So, like when we took it off, we're gonna bow it or flex it, whatever you want to call it, in order to get clearance and get everything lined up. Now we're in position. Now we have to reach through, try not to cut ourselves. We have to push our sensor through to the front and plug in our ice maker harness. Okay, so now I'm going to reach through until I can feel that ice maker harness. Grab it and then push it through. It'll snap into place. So I'm going to do the same thing over on this side for our sensor. Now we can take the 4 screws we took off. We can go ahead and reattach this back panel with those 4 screws. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put in our screws. Alright, so I'm going to take my sensor, feed it through the slot, and pull it down to where it snaps into place, and then snap that into position. Our center, we'll call it air deflector. You just line it up and push it back, and it'll snap into place as well. Now we have to reinstall our ice maker with the 3 screws we removed. We're going to take our ice maker, push the tube in through the hole here, and then start putting in the screws. Make sure they're both tight now. Our 3rd screw went in at the bottom here, and then we have to plug in our wiring harness, and it just pushes right in. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and place our basket in position here, and get Gotta lift up on these tabs that we took the screws out on, and then I'm gonna push them down so they lock into place. Pull my basket as far forward as I can, so that way my track is lined up, and I'm gonna push down on each end to lock it into place. Now we can push our basket all the way back, replace the 2 screws here that hold it together in the front. So we'll do that now. Alright, so now we can go ahead and clear that ice out. We'll put in our final basket and then our door, and then we'll be done with this section of the repair. Alright, so we got that cleared out. Now we're gonna drop our basket back into position. Just like that. Make sure it's in right. We can slide it back and it closes. We'll put our ice bucket back in and the food we removed from here. And then now the last step is our door. So we're going to put it in position and then tighten up the 4 screws we loosened. Alright, so I'm just going to set the screws into the little slots on our little frame. Make sure I get all 4. There's it, and then I'm just going to take my drill and tighten them back up. Alright, and now I just want to make sure when I close my drawer that I get a good seal all the way around. I'll just check the gasket here, check the gasket underneath, and I'll open the doors and check it from the top. And we're getting a good seal, so I know I put it in position properly. Now to complete the repair, we got to get to the back side of the refrigerator to install that new grommet. Alright, we have to take off our back panel. To do so, there's 7 1/4-inch screws. Alright, so we got our screws off. We can get our back panel. I'm going to slide the power cord up and off to give us slack. Get this panel out of the way a little bit. Alright. Now our drain grommet, there's a piece in here straight back from that power cord, and it looks like a black slide. So we're going to reach in here. We have this little black slide piece that goes from the bottom at the top, almost like a 45-degree angle. At the top of that is where our drain grommet is. And we're just going to pull it off. And this is what we have. Our old drain grommet. Alright, but at the bottom here, you can see it kind of gets gummed up and it's sticky almost. And that prevents the water from being able to flow through. So that's why we're replacing it with a new one. Alright, so now I got the new one. I'm just going to reach up in here. And it's kind of like, there's nothing, no right way or wrong way to get it on there. It's kind of like putting when you were a kid, with a water balloon around the sink or your hose nozzle to fill it up. So that's all I'm doing. And just like that, we got the new one on there. So now that's in there, now we can reinstall our back panel. I'm just going to seat the lower section in place. I have my power cord. I have to slide that back into the strain relief here that we took out to give ourselves more room. And be careful, the back panel is very sharp. And now we'll just go ahead and secure our back panel. We're just going to slide it back all the way. Alright, just like that, and now we've completed the repair. Thank you for watching another quality in-home diagnostic video brought to you by ApplianceVideo.com.